Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the City of Henderson Police Department's virtual talk shop with a copy bin. We're very excited to have you join us today. We have some great panelists and representatives from our department. We're going to start our event off with Officer Haddock from the Recruitment and Background Unit. We also have Officer Mark Geiger that's going to represent the Community Relations, and Lieutenant Matt Murnane, who's going to represent our training section. As always, we like these events to be very informative, and the format is very interactive. Should you have any questions about the sections that are being represented here today, please feel free to ask and type those questions in the box, and we will promptly have a response for you. So we're going to begin with Officer Haddock.
Thank you, Captain. My name is Asher Haddock. I am a Recruitment and Backgrounds Officer at the department. I've been here about 14 and a half years, a couple of years in another agency in another state. So almost 20 years of service so far. I've been in Recruitment and Backgrounds for the last 2.5 years, and I wanted to share some information with everybody today to give you a basic idea of some of our requirements for the application process. Also, what you can expect if you are fortunate enough to make it to the background process, and then touch a little bit on some of our recruitment aspects and some of our physical agility classes that we put on periodically to get people prepped for the post-physical agility test. So to start off, some of the minimum requirements to be a law enforcement officer in Nevada: you have to be 21 years of age. So those of you that are on the cusp of that, or maybe a few years younger, you can look into some of our other programs, like an Explorer program, or just reach out to us and we can maybe try to get a mentor hooked up with you and give you some mentorship while you're waiting to turn 21. You also have to be a high school graduate or equivalent, meaning a GED. You have to have a valid driver's license. You do not have to live in the state of Nevada prior to application, but if you are fortunate enough to get a job offer and an academy slot, then you would have to live in the Southern Nevada area primarily, but in the state of Nevada with a valid Nevada driver's license. You cannot have any gross misdemeanor or felony convictions. There are some exceptions for misdemeanor convictions, but that is something that you would discuss with a background investigator if you reach that point in the process. And then there are a handful of other basic requirements that are listed that you can find on our joinhpd.com website. I encourage everybody to go take a look at that so that you have a full understanding prior to entering into the application process. Other than that, I would like to kind of put out there so that everybody has a good understanding that this is a great time to apply with the Henderson Police Department. Why do I say that? Well, we have the potential to have 80 plus officers either retire or leave in the next 2.5 years. So that's going to provide a lot of vacancies. So it's a great time to start this process. If you have questions, please reach out to the Recruitment and Backgrounds Unit, and we'll be happy to answer those whenever you can. I'd also like to touch on the fact that when you start the application process, if you go to the City of Henderson main website, cityofhenderson.com, and you go to the civilian employment section, there is a requirement for you to submit an application, and then there's also a supplemental application that you have to submit along with the initial application if you want to be a law enforcement officer. So that's the first 2 steps for the application process. Then you would need, within a 30-day window, you would need to take the written exam with the National Testing Network. It's very important that you don't miss that 30-day window, or you'll have to wait another year. So make sure that once you complete an application with the City of Henderson, that you take that NTN test, that is administered by that third party. We don't have anything to do with the actual test itself. We can answer some basic questions, and joinhpd.com has all of the information that you would need to complete the steps for the application process. It's pretty simple. I encourage everybody to go check out the website. It has literally every piece of information that you would need to know about how to start that application process. And then our unit, and myself in particular, I am responsible for putting on some of the practice physical fitness and agility testing. Prior to COVID, we were doing a practice session once a month and then a practice post-test. So actually running prospective applicants through the post-testing the way that they would have to do it in the academy. We were also doing that once a month. We've had to scale that back quite a bit. We're starting to get that rolling again. But if you continue to check our joinhpd.com website and our social media platforms, we always post that information and those dates on there. Our location changes from time to time, so please make sure that you check that early and often, and we encourage you to come out and get some general fitness education that will help prepare you for that post-fitness test.
Some questions that have come in are there any classes, books, or seminars available to those interested folks for more information to applying to be an officer, or maybe like study material that they can obtain?
So because the written test is administered by that third party, we don't have any specific study guides that we can recommend to you. I do believe that the National Testing Network has a study section, but again, you would need to go on their website and contact them directly. There are 3 categories that you get tested on with them. There's a human relations video section. I can't imagine how you would actually prep for that because you don't know what the video will be. But there's a video section. You have to score a minimum of 65% on that to pass for us. There's also a written section, and there's also a reading section. You have to score 70% on each of those sections at a minimum to pass for us. I would imagine that there are probably some guidelines that they provide, although those 3 categories are pretty difficult to have any kind of practice tests on. But again, check with National Testing Network directly for what they can provide as far as study materials.
Another question that's come in is, are there any upcoming fitness preparation courses, that referencing the ones that you were talking about?
So we just put on a practice post-test. I am looking at the calendar now to try and schedule something for early August, maybe the first or second week of August, for a general fitness seminar. Again, those are about 45 minutes to an hour long, usually at one of our local parks here in Henderson. And the way that they're structured is specifically to help guide people, number one, with things that they can continue to do at home that will help them prepare for that post-physical exam. And each exercise that's incorporated into the fitness seminars is specifically geared towards those post-tests. So it's not a CrossFit workout. It's nothing crazy, but they are specifically geared to help you pass that post-test. So probably early August.
Okay. When that date is decided, where will they be able to get that information?
So again, we always post that on our joinhpd.com website, on all of our social media platforms. They're posted on there simultaneously, and check those often, and make sure that you double check before you come out to the location, because sometimes based on logistics or weather, we have to adjust where we will put those on.
All right, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Officer Mark Geiger. I'm with the Community Relations Bureau, and I've been here in Henderson for about 17 years. I've had the pleasure of working in a lot of different units, and Currently, as I mentioned, community relations, we take a great proactive approach to assisting the community and supporting a lot of the other various units, the patrol being the backbone. But we really take a proactive approach. I had the fortunate opportunity to work with everyone from the young age of 5th grade with our DREAM program, all the way up through several senior programs. We have a plethora of different things that we work with throughout our program, our crime-free multi-housing program, which really focuses on apartment living. We have a neighborhood watch program. We have our police explorer program, and that program works with young adults from 16 to 21. We have our every 15 minutes program, which spans up into our high school of junior and seniors throughout our Henderson area, and even our DREAM programs, like I mentioned, that focuses on decision making for 5th graders. We enjoy the interaction with the public. We are here not only to educate, take a proactive approach to crime prevention, but also utilize the resources that are available not only to our officers and our citizens, but the city overall. Everything from backpack drives to a Camp 911, both of which are actually happening today.
Some questions that have come in, Officer Geiger, is would you be able to expand into home safety a bit more as far as home protection or deterrences against burglaries?
Absolutely. We have several programs, and we actually have a program where we can come out and do a physical assessment of your property. We have something, it's an acronym called CEPTED. That's Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design. We look at the infrastructure and actually everything from landscape to lighting. We're looking to maximize the efficiency, not only cost-wise, but everything from light pollution to, like I said, landscaping. There are proven tactics and techniques that we can come out and share with you to enhance the security and the aesthetics of your home. It's really getting the most bang for your buck. Obviously, home prices, we want to try and maintain, and we want to maintain the values of our homes. In addition, we want to couple that with the security and safety of our community. So we absolutely can come out and we can offer these assessments and take a look at your actual residence and see how we can enhance it.
Another question that's come up for community relations is how can we schedule a community safety meeting?
So throughout Henderson, there's lots of communities, there's lots of HOAs, and by calling our community relations department or accessing our website through the city of Henderson, we can actually come up and put together a safety seminar for you. We can address a small group for as little as just a few, as well as individuals, to a larger group. A great example of that is what we do up in Sun City Anthem. We actually go up and there's quite a large group and we can address them. We can field questions. We can talk about different trends that are happening in our area, and we can also talk about those proactive measures that we really want to try and stay on top of.
While we are still in summer, some people want to know, are there any tips for prepping your home, if you're going out of town for a holiday or on vacation or anything?
Absolutely. Great question. We want to keep everyone safe, and we want everyone to feel comfortable when they leave town or they go on vacation. Obviously, great communication stems from speaking with your neighbors, having a responsible person or a responsible contact, letting them know that you're going to be out of town. One key aspect that a lot of individuals might look for that would indicate that you're out of town might be several newspapers building up in your driveway or several flyers on your doorstep. Those type of things, trash cans. We want that perception that someone is there, someone is actively at the residence. There's some great technology out there, from motion detection floodlights to timers, things of that nature that can really enhance the security and safety and give that perception that you're there. Utilize your neighbors, utilize your resources, and also communicate with your police department. If there's something that's happening, you're going to be away for an extended duration, feel free to contact the community relations department and at least make us aware that you're going to be out of town for an extended duration. Also, be sure to check your mailboxes. Sometimes mail will build up to the point where mail could even be showing and peeking out of those little edges of your mailbox. We want to make sure that mail is collected on a regular basis. If there ever happens to be any type of damage or theft to a mailbox, that accumulation of mail could also make you a little bit more vulnerable to issues regarding that.
You may have addressed this partially, but a resident wants to know, as far as getting an assessment on your home, where do they go to, and is there a fee?
Actually, there's no fee at all, and you can go on the City of Henderson website and you can follow the prompts of the Community Relations Department. You can submit a Comcate. You can contact us even directly, and we can go ahead and schedule that. Either myself or another one of our community relations officers will contact you, and this will be done via email initially, and we will set up a scheduled time and come out and do that assessment. It doesn't usually take too long. I would allocate normally about an hour, and we can point out all these things and actually guide you with some suggestions and some direction on really how to maximize the safety of your home. Also, ladies and gentlemen, on the topic of that preventative crime, there's something that I commonly refer to as crimes of opportunity. Although we are a super safe community, these crimes of opportunity leave a lot of people vulnerable, and that is by simply taking the extra steps to enhance the safety and security around your homes. If you're parking in your driveway, please ensure to lock your doors. A lot of times we'll have individuals that will simply emphasize that crime of opportunity and walk by and see an open door. If they see something that looks appealing, like maybe a briefcase or something of value, maybe a gift around the holidays, if that is in plain view inside the motor vehicle, it's going to encourage people to take advantage of that opportunity. So please take the extra steps, double check, lock your car doors. Don't leave anything of value. If you go to the gym, don't leave valuables in your car. If you're going out to walk your dog, even if it's for just a few minutes, make sure that you're locking your door. Utilize your porch lights. We want you to take those proactive steps that are so easy and so simple that sometimes we forget to do that. Close your garage doors. Double check them before you go to sleep and lock everything up. We don't want those opportunities to arise just by chance.
And one more question here that we have is inquiring about an Explorer program.
Sure, we have a great Explorer program, and it stems from the early age of 16 and goes up to the age of 21. It gives young men and women an opportunity to experience what law enforcement is all about. We work and we do volunteer opportunities. It's actually through our volunteer program, but we work within our community. We do scenarios. We learn about law, case law, observation skills, report writing. It really reinforces the educational foundation, but more importantly, it gives these young men and women an opportunity to learn about law enforcement and hopefully follow up and pursue that opportunity to become police officers. We've had several individuals, several of our explorers that have progressed through our Explorer program, and at the age of 21, were fortunate enough to gain an opportunity in the police academy, have worked their way through field training, and are actually police officers on our department. So it's a great program. We meet on Wednesdays, and again, if you're interested in that, feel free to contact our Community Relations Bureau, and we can give you more direction on that. But a great program, really supporting and getting the kids involved in the community and law enforcement as well.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Officer Geiger, Officer Haddock. We've already been presented with lots of valuable information, but what I'd like to do next is talk to you a little bit about our training section. So I'm Lieutenant Matt Mernan, and I'm tasked with leading our training and development section. What that includes our police academy, our in-service training, which is training for officers who have already completed their initial phase of training, our recruitment and backgrounds unit, our field training program, and also our critical incident review unit. So all of those individual units fall under the training umbrella. So just to give you a little bit of, I'll start kind of from the beginning and work our way through. So if someone first gets hired as a police officer, they would attend our police academy. Typically that academy lasts anywhere from about 25 to 29 weeks. We're currently and we have our own police academy that's housed here at Henderson PD. So we're currently on the HPD Academy number 5, and this academy is going to last for 29 weeks, which is just partly because it falls within a lot of holidays. And so we don't work on the holidays during the academy, but we need to make sure that training value is still there and that the recruits are getting all the training they need. So we had to extend it a couple weeks to make up for that. So during the academy, you receive all kinds of training. We have training on search and seizure, use of force, defensive tactics, racial profiling, implicit bias, procedural justice, community relations, all the different laws from traffic laws, laws about property crimes, laws about crimes against persons. And then we put our recruits through an extensive program of firearms training, emergency vehicle operations training, arrest and control training. And then also we emphasize real life scenario based training. That's one of the most important things for police officers or for recruits to obtain is scenarios that are real to what they will experience once they leave the police academy. We don't want our folks to, the first time they experience something is in a real environment. We want to give them at least something they can fall back on. So in our police academy, we spend hours and hours on scenario-based training. We actually have one full week of just scenario-based training, and then we have another full week of scenario practicals, which is when the recruits are tested. But inside of that other 29 weeks, we have additional days or half days of scenario-based training that fall within the subjects that were being taught at that point. So, and that is done to reinforce the learning objectives that are being taught. We then move into a scenario-based training to reinforce those scenarios and to put that information that the recruits were just taught into play. Once someone graduates our police academy, they move on to our field training program. Our field training program is 17 weeks, and that usually involves 4 different phases: the first, second, third, and fourth. The first through third phases are 5 weeks each, and during that time, the recruit would work different shifts and different area commands. And the point of that is, again, to expose them to as much as possible during field training. Once they complete those initial 3 phases, they move to a 4th phase, which is 2 weeks long, and that's an evaluation phase, where at that time, we move from a training environment to making sure that they are ready to go and they are evaluated. Once a recruit passes all of that, they become a solo beat officer, and at that point, they are able to work on their own. But training definitely does not stop once that initial 29 plus 17 weeks is over. Part of what separates HPD is that we just focus and put so much effort and time into training. And again, even with our in-service training, we focus heavily on scenario-based training and real-life training. Right now, we're currently in a block of training that teaches our taser skills to our officers. And during that training, our officers all go through scenarios that have them have to react to a situation and possibly use their taser or use de-escalation tactics or use other tactics to get the scenario to a conclusion. So we incorporate that with as much training as we possibly can just to reinforce that those skills. And it's much more important than just classroom-based training or just online-based training where you learn material, but putting it into applying the material and putting it into application is just hugely important for our officers. And that training goes on throughout the year. It's rare to see the training bureau not having training going on, so our training officers are always very, very busy. Then on top of the training bureau, we also have the recruitments and background, which Officer Haddock already talked about, so I'm not going to touch very much on that. And then we have our critical incident review unit, and what that is it's a unit that is designed to specifically review all of our uses of force and critical incidents. So in addition to the criminal proceedings that we have with our investigators, we also have this training unit that looks for any policy, training equipment, or any other kind of issues where we can learn from any type of incident that has happened. So one of the things that we really focus on in our training bureau is learning from our mistakes, learning from things that we've done that we could have done better, and also being proactive and identifying trends that are out in the world right now or that are in our nation, and making sure that we properly train our officers to handle those trends before they come here to Henderson or before they become an issue here in Henderson. And one of those proactive trainings that we just accomplished was our ABLE training. So that's active bystandership for law enforcement. And what that training is it was developed by Georgetown University in collaboration with several law enforcement agencies, but it trains our officers on how to intercede and to help to prevent unnecessary issues between our officers and our community. And mostly we always think about this as like a use of force thing. Like, so an officer is using force and we expect another officer to pull them off. But there's so many other aspects that go into that as well, as far as, it could just be an officer is getting into a heated argument with a member of our community. We don't want that either. So we're training our officers to recognize those things and to step in and to resolve those scenarios and resolve those situations before they come out of hand. And so that's a full day of training that every single one of our police officers has recently attended. And you can see myself and Captain Moore are wearing ABLE pins, which shows our support for the program, because I just believe that it's hugely important that we identify ways to train our officers to make sure that we are just being the best officers we can be for our community. Because that's ultimately what we want to do, is we want to provide the best service that we can to our community. And in order to do that, the training aspect of our careers is hugely important. And we put a lot of time, effort, and thought into how we train our officers.
Okay, Lieutenant, we have a couple questions here. Being that you oversee training and the academy, is Henderson considering hiring laterals?
So right now we're in the process of looking at hiring laterals. So a decision has not been made on it. It's still working, but that is something that we're looking at right now. What I would suggest is that if anyone who's interested in a lateral program, continue to go to the joinhpd.com website and watch our social media. If that was to be approved, it would be posted on there to give anyone who's interested in that program the information necessary for them.
Excellent. This next question is reference the Citizens Academy. Where does a person go to find the details, about the application process, and when is the next academy, if you happen to know?
Thank you for bringing that up. I actually kind of skipped over that during my initial talk. So we also put on a Citizens Academy, and what the Citizens Academy is a 12-week program where we allow members of our community to come in and we provide them with training on what we do at HPD. So we provide training for traffic stops, we provide training for our taser, for use of force, for all these different topics over the 12-week program. We even provide them with some firearms training. We take them to our range and show them talk to them about firearms and actually let them shoot simunitions weapons. So that program, like I said, is 12 weeks. It occurs every Tuesday night from 6 to 9 p.m. during the program. Our next one starts August 31st. We're looking for about 26 people in the program. If COVID regulations or rules change, we may have to adjust that to make sure that we can, allow for social distancing within that program. For example, our last Citizens Academy was about 17 people because it happened last year during the COVID regulations where we had social distancing in place, and so we couldn't fit that many people into one room. But that is going on right now. If you are interested in that, we ask that you go to the cityofhenderson.com webpage, then you'll go to the police department subsection within that webpage, and then go to community programs. Under that, you'll see Citizens Academy, and then you click there, and it has the application process for you right there.
Thank you, sir. Is the question that came in is there an age limit for the PD or CO academies?
I will refer that to Officer Haddock because he works with recruitment and backgrounds, and I'm not 100% sure if there is an age limit.
There's no age top out, if that's the question. No.
Yes, I believe that's what it was referencing.
As long as
There
you're
was
21
a
years of
cap.
age and you meet all the other requirements, there's no age top out.
Those are all the questions we have that are available for you guys here today. Thank you guys, Captain Moore. Thank you.
So before we conclude our session, there's been a lot of information shared with you from recruitment and backgrounds, our community relations section, and our training section. All the information provided is just a small snippet of all the opportunities we have here at the City of Henderson. The City of Henderson prides itself as being one of the safest cities in America. We love to take responsibility for that. However, we do recognize that that is only possible because of the relationship that we have with our community. We're very prideful that our community trusts the City of Henderson Police Department, and our relationship is interactive, it's back and forth, just like this talk shop with a copy bit. We take the information that you provide seriously. We're committed to this community, we're committed to the city, and we want to remain a premier city and organization. So I thank you for attending this virtual talk shop with a cop. Should you have additional questions, I will please remind everyone, visit thecityofhenderson.com, also join hpd.com. If you're interested in a career in policing or public safety, this is an excellent opportunity and time here at the City of Henderson, and we would encourage you to explore all those options as we have a lot of availability. So again, thank you very much, and we very much appreciate your time. Thank you.